conference personnel before you took the position?
Not very. You know, I was in the Southeastern Conference at Mississippi State with Sylvester Croom for quite a while, and then I left and I was up in the Big 12 up at KU for a while, and kind of got away from the the recruiting in the southeastern area as far as who they were taking here at Auburn. So I'm not real familiar with a lot of the guys that are on the roster right now. There are a couple of guys. A couple of offensive linemen.
What's your impressions of the rest of the staff? You had a chance to meet the rest of the guys?
I'll tell you what, now old Gus has gone and hired him a really good staff now. I mean, you've got guys that I'm very familiar with. I was on the same staff with Ellis Johnson at Mississippi State. I was with Charlie Harbison at Mississippi State, and I was with Melvin Smith at Mississippi State. And we put together a pretty good football team in a rebuilding process over there. And I credit those guys for the type of recruiting that they did over there. And we left Dan Mullen with some pretty good players. And I'm familiar with, obviously, with Rhett Lashley. I've heard of Damian Craig for a long, long time, him being the quarterback here at Auburn. I just have a lot of familiarity with these guys.
A lot of these offensive linemen were recruited for this system, for Gus's system, when he was here as the offensive coordinator. How much would that help, I guess, in the transition back?
I think there'll be a lot of carryover with some of the older guys. I think obviously there's some freshmen on this team, true freshmen, that we either redshirted. I think some of those guys might have even played a little bit. I think Patrick Miller played a little bit this past year. In fact, I think he played a lot. They won't be familiar with it at all, but some of the older guys will be familiar, and they'll understand and have at least a concept of what Coach Malzahn is wanting to do.
Have you watched tape of these guys?
I have not. There's a couple of guys that I watched coming out of high school. I watched Alex Kozan out of high school. We recruited him when I was at Kansas. Jordan Diamond is another young man. One of those is from Colorado. The other one is from Chicago, and which was our primary recruiting area there at Kansas. But the rest of these guys I haven't seen tape on.
You said you've been doing this for 37 years. What's the biggest thing that's changed about the offensive line game over the?
Well, they've gotten so much bigger. They're so much bigger than they were when I first got in. Back when I first got into the business, if you had a 270-pound guy, he was a big guy. Now everybody's wondering, well, he's not 300 pounds. He's not big enough. He's not 300 pounds. That's the biggest difference. The size of these guys and the athleticism of these guys combined with the size, in my opinion.
One of the things that's happened thus far already in the offensive line game, since Gus has taken the position, is they lost Christian Westerman back in a transfer, and they also picked up a JUCO commit signed up. How involved were you at least in pursuing the junior college? Not much. That was done really prior to me signing and being on board. But I did watch tape on the young man. I think he's a pretty good player. He's a good football player.